The XOR gate is pretty unique, and I've talked about it before, and this design here that specifically uses subtractors, not comparators. Make sure that you have the redstone torch on the front there for it to work, because the way it works is that if this lever exclusively, or this lever is on, then the output will be on. It needs to be exclusively one of them. That's what the X is for. So only one input can be on for our output to be on. What I'm going to talk about today, though, is the inputs and outputs specifically, because they don't necessarily need to be levers that are right here. We just need power to get into this dust and this dust equally. So we could say power a block here with something like a repeater, or maybe a comparator if it's got a certain signal strength going into it. Just make sure that if you have a certain signal strength, you're also matching it on this side with the comparator so that the math works out. Because you might run into some issues with the middle here if you've got some high values here and low values there. Of course, you could also just power some dust here, similarly with a repeater or a comparator at a specific value. I'd recommend in general just using a repeater for this so you get consistent values across the board. But it's important that we power this block here so that these two are equal, and that way the subtractor does the math that it needs to. The output actually comes from both of these pieces of dust. Because of the way that things are powered, it's actually coming out of this subtractor here, while this one's being turned off. Without any power coming through at all, we can see that this is outputting, and then it's subtracting one here. So really we have two pieces of redstone dust that we need to take from. We can do that by using a repeater to grab the signal from it, or, as we saw, just using something like a target block to pull it upwards. And in that case, we just have two of them there, so that each redstone dust is getting its output. Now, you can use this for whatever you need to. Having it in different positions is how we get our output on. If they're in the same position, both on, or, of course, both of them off, there's no power in the system. Just one in there though, and the math works out that one of these signals can get through. If they're both on, everything's getting subtracted down. And I've talked about the math before, and it might help explain why some other configurations won't work. Leave your redstone questions in the comments, and subscribe for more daily tips. Join the Discord too to see when streams are, and to download this world. Help support me on Coffee if you can too. Peace.